I'm Sarah Veseloff.
I'm Frederick Philip Von Weiss, and thank you so much for consuming the Thunder Nerds, a conversation with the people behind the technology that love what they do and do tech good. Welcome to the show, everybody. First off, let's thank our sponsor. We have an exclusive sponsor this year. We have Auth0. Auth0 makes it easy for developers to build a custom, secure, and standard-based unified login by providing authentication and authorization as a service. So please try them out today. Go to auth0.com. Sarah?
Oh, and I'm here to tell you to subscribe. So if you're watching on YouTube, there should be a big subscribe button somewhere that I can never remember, left, right, I don't know, but it's big and it says subscribe, so do that. And then you will be able to be the first to know what's going on with us and our awesome show.
Yeah, and that way you can also start asking us some questions and we could feed these to Jason and we'll have a live dialogue. That'd be great. So please go ahead and start asking your questions, everybody. So with that being said, and without any further ado, let's go ahead and get to our guest. We have senior interactive designer, UX design lead, ex-hand model, William Shatner enthusiast, and founder, host, and producer of User Defenders, Jason Ogle. Welcome to the show, Jason.
What is up, everybody?
Hey, Jason.
Man, it's too early for that. Too early for that, Jason.
I told you, Sarah, he's an early bird.
Oh my God. I still look like I just got out of bed, which I literally did. So, you know.
Jason, you probably got out of bed at like 5:50, started brewing your own coffee. Is that correct?
Monday through Friday, 5 o'clock. Yes. Today, I got a little extra sleep. I woke up at like 7:30.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
and
insane.
then I did brew my own coffee. Yes.
Well, you're also a very busy man. You have 6 children, correct?
I do. Yeah.
A lot of children.
Is that a soccer team?
Uh-huh.
Is that how many are on the soccer field? I usually just say my soccer team. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a
I don't know sports ball. Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. It's a lot. I know that.
It's a lot.
maybe like that. I mean, I watched my son play soccer, but yeah, I didn't count. Yeah. How old your youngest?
She's 4.
Oh, wow.
She is 4 years old. Yeah. The youngest one. And this is probably the longest lull. Oh yeah, they do. She actually is a pretty good sleeper, thankfully. But so wait, my 4-year-old, I had something I was going to share about her, but I can't remember now. So
Frederick, it's your fault. He does it all the time.
It's your fault, man.
Just talk over him. That's what I do.
I'm going to blame the Rona.
Yeah, as you should. Yeah, they always wake up like at least my little guy, he would wake up at like 5:30 on a good day when he was 4.
Oh wow. Now my 4-year-old, she hope this umbrella doesn't blow away like Mary Poppins or something. She sleeps really good, actually. I'm very grateful for that. I was going to say to this is the longest lull we've had between babies. And we're done now. Unless there's a divine intervention, we're done.
Yeah. I only have 2, and my oldest is in college and my youngest is going into high school. So I don't even, like, people talk about kids. Yeah, people talk about kids and I'm like, I don't remember if they slept through the night. I'm in that lovely stage of parenthood where they were amazing and they were wonderful and they were easy. Like, I don't really remember all the tough stuff. It's beautiful now.
Self-preservation. I guess we tend to forget the painful parts of raising kids.
Yeah, I think so. I remember sleepless nights, but I don't remember tantrums, and maybe I just want to remember myself as being the perfect mother, which good. I'll do that. Pat on the back.
That's good. It's not. It's a hard job. I tell my wife, I say, your job is like 100 times harder than mine.
It's so hard.
I have so much respect for moms. Absolutely, the ones that that love their kids, are good to their kids, like you. And unfortunately, we live in a really painful world where sometimes moms don't do that, and
lots of great dads too, though. Shout out to Frederick, who I know is
yeah.
pretty awesome dad. So
Oh, thanks. I appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Look at that. For once, I'm not making fun of him. It's what day is this? We gotta mark this on the calendar. I can't
I
believe
think
it.
it's just because you're a little sleepy. We'll give it to the end of the episode. I'm sure you'll
That's true.
say something
I'm
witty.
still waking up too. Don't feel
That's
alone.
true. Now, I
I'm
know
on my
nothing
coffee.
about you, Jason, which is unbelievable because we're in the same industry, do similar things.
Yes.
Holy moly. So I want to know more about you. Talk to me.
Well, where should I begin? I so I am a designer. We'll start there. I know that this is a show that appeals to designers and developers, and I am a big believer that those two disciplines are very important to collaborate in a collaborative spirit. And I've noticed that. I've noticed what happens when the designers and developers don't collaborate well. And I've noticed what happens when they do. So I'm a designer. I've enjoyed doing that since really I started in 95 on my own. I kind of really started doing freelance in 96. I didn't really know what that was yet, but building websites and the infancy of the web. I feel really blessed that I can say that I've seen the entire growth and trajectory and evolution of the web. I know that not a lot of us can say that. So I feel really thankful that I've been able to see just what it was and how limited it was, but yet how scrappy so many really smart and generous designers were to make this what it is today.
Yeah.
That's a big part of my life. Especially as men, we tend to find our identity in our careers. And so that's definitely where I start. But I'm a family man, as you mentioned. I love being a dad. I love being a husband. My wife and I celebrated 20 years in September. And I'm just really grateful that she hasn't left me. I mean, that's the truth. And so, no, she's awesome. She's my hero. She's my superhero. And so that's really, in a nutshell, that's me. I'm a worship leader at church too. I do that. That's one of those little known facts, maybe I'm jumping ahead of the format, but
We'll
I
circle
do
back
that.
around. We'll dig deep in
Yeah.
some
All right.
areas.
All right.
This
That
is
sounds good.
organic conversation.
Yeah.
There's no
Right on.
this or that we're sticking to. So yeah,
Right
wherever
on.
we
Right
go.
on. Yeah. So let's see. What else do I do? That's in a nutshell. That's in a nutshell what I do. I'm a musician too. And I need to pick up my guitar more, but yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Is there anything else like you'd like, any other questions more specifically perhaps around
We will.
who I am? Okay.
Frederick, you're great. He's great at the questions.
Another compliment. Wow, you
I
must
know
be tired.
I'm
Wow.
better at the jabs. I'm just here to like every once in a while be like, here I am, a jerk, and then I just kind of like fade in the background
Yeah, but it's all in good intent, I think.
most of the time.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, anyway. So, Jason, yes, you founder, producer, host of User Defenders. You've been doing this for almost about 5 years, right? Yeah, I think we have the same birthday. Like we literally both started in November of
Yeah,
2015. Am I correct?
that's you're correct. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, it's so amazing. The thing about having this kind of publisher content creator lifestyle is people don't really know what goes into it because it really is a lifestyle. And I want to get into this a little bit because you had an episode, kind of an episode that you put on the show, I think in what was it, June, or just a few days ago, really, where you were
Yeah, I
talking
think it
about
was
what's coming up.
just a week or two. Oh yeah, like a
Yeah,
week and a
June
half ago or
20th.
something.
I'm looking at my notes here. And you haven't put out a show since October, but I want to go into this a little bit, is that, and I'll do a comparison really quick. So on our last episode, we had a developer advocate, James Q. Quick, and he's also a content creator. He creates videos online and courses. And kind of his regiment is he wakes up when his family wakes up at like 5. His wife goes to work and he's creates some videos in the morning and then goes about his workday. Now, not everybody has that ability to, one, be in their late 20s and have that energy. Two, have a family that needs you. I don't know how many people out there realize what it takes to have what how demanding a family is on a schedule. And it's not a demanding in a negative way. It's a demanding on an amazing experience realm. Because, you know, when I'm home with my son, it's about him, and, you know, we're playing and we're doing this, we're playing cars. You know, I got my Bakugan out, and we're spinning our Bakugan balls, getting Bakugan gear. And, you know, I think this one is Pegatrix, and his power level is 500 Gs, but I'm digressing. But the point is that it takes a lot of effort to put these shows together. You know, we go into things like researching our guests, just setting stuff up. You know, you're lighting your microphone, getting this, working on the actual audio editing, video editing, getting notes together, getting getting images, doing marketing it. It's a lot of work. Do you mind kind of talking about your publishing lifestyle a little bit?
Yeah. And Frederick, you're absolutely right. Every single point you made is spot on, and you would know. It is a lot of work to do. Even one episode is a lot of work, and I don't think the listening audience in at large understands all that goes on behind the scenes. You just explained a good part of it. And then shows are unique, right? Like some shows do things differently than others. I happen to, because of the superhero theme, I happen to have whether or not I can sustain this. I have been so far, thankfully, but I have an artist that does artist renderings of most of my guests. Sometimes I can't swing it because of time and stuff, and also money because it costs me money every time. But I do have renderings done of my guests in a superhero way, and I have to think about based on my interview, what what would this superhero be based on this personality, based on kind of what they do, even their hobbies maybe. And so I have to think around that. There's like a creative brief for every art piece for every guest, and so and that's just one part of it. And then of course the transcripts. That's something that I wished I could have done from the very beginning, but again, like it costs money to do this stuff, and you don't have money when you're just starting a show. So, um,
I think we might have lost him, Frederick.
Yeah, Jason, I think you broke up there, and I think you might have frozen. So we're having technical difficulties, everyone. So just hold on with us for a moment. Jason, if you can't regain your internet connection there, maybe log out and then log back into the Zoom meeting. But to go back into what Jason was saying, I'll reiterate while we wait for him to get back in here, is that yeah, he, just like anyone that's putting a show together, and if you might start to put a podcast together, you'll start to see a lot of the work that goes into this, and a lot of the time it requires. So for Jason, he was talking about, he has an image of a superhero that goes along with each one of the guests as they're the superhero guest of the show. So obviously User Defenders, it's a superhero kind of theme. So not only that, so you have to have a person that he externally hires and waits on them to create the artwork. So there's the time there. And then there's also the cost of that artwork. So what he was discussing with a sponsor at the beginning, you don't have sponsors, and it's pretty difficult to find a sponsor when you're just starting a show and trying to explain the value. Like, oh, what's your audience? How many people do you have? I'm just beginning this. What's that?
Five whole people.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all my friends.
yeah. It's us and some other person. I don't know. But yeah, but so there's a lot that goes into that. And then of course you want to do things right. You want to have transcriptions of the shows. You want to make sure that it's that you're complying to usability standards and providing a show for everyone, because the internet is for everyone. And if you're not doing that, you're leaving people out, and you know it's kind of just wrong. But it's difficult to find the money to do that. We try to do that as much as we can, but same for our show. It's hard to find someone to do it for the amount of money that we have. We only have a certain amount of money that we get for sponsorship. And I certainly don't have the time to go through that all the time. I could grab the transcriptions from YouTube, but a lot of times that's all junkety robot stuff that doesn't make any sense. So it's really difficult to really address a lot of those challenges. What do you think, Sarah?
I mean, I'm sitting here hearing it. Man, today is like the love for Frederick Day. I don't know why. Maybe I should do mornings more often, but you know, you do all of that. I do. I just want everyone to know right here and now, I do none of that. Like when I show up, depending on my schedule, the research is already done. He's already done hours and hours of laying out what, you know, things that we could talk about to make sure that we keep it interesting and keep things, you know, going, and that the guest has a really good time while they're here. And I think that's another thing. There's a lot of hospitality involved, right? Want to make sure that our guests enjoy the experience and that, you know, they have fun while they're here, and then, you know, putting everything together afterwards. I do none of that. I show up, I bungle the intro, laugh at myself, chatter a little bit, and then I'm gone. Like that is all I do for this show. So I can't imagine doing everything that you do. It's unbelievable. It's so much fun.
Okay, I'm
You're
back.
You're back.
Jeez.
Hey, Jason. Yeah.
Sorry
Hey,
about
internet's
that.
internet. It's right now everybody's internet is unpredictable. But yeah, we were just reviewing what you were
Yeah.
talking about with how difficult it is to get sponsors, how difficult it is to be able to afford the transcriptions and have the time, and what it takes to get your artwork done and all that. It's challenging, to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
I have one kid, and it's hard for me to find the time. I would love to know about your publishing schedule, how you find the time, because especially from what I understand now is you're not outsourcing a lot of these things anymore. You're doing all this stuff yourself. You're actually going in and editing these audio files too.
Yeah. Yeah, I started doing that, and one of the reasons I started was I found that so, I was spending so much time trying to tell my editor where to do things that I'm like, why don't I just do this myself? You know, like I spent hours just trying to do this myself, you know, find
You're sounding a little bit like sorry to interject, Jason, but you're sounding like you got the robot thing going on again. Maybe you need to get closer to wherever your Wi-Fi signal is.
I want to call this the Frederick IT support episode. You're like, maybe you need to log out, log back in.
Yeah. Are you still there, Jason? Yeah, he's not there.
Oh,
So yeah,
such a bummer. Oh.
Jason's having. It might just be that he's too far away from his Wi-Fi. So for our audio listeners, Jason's really far away from his. Jason's outside, so maybe he just needs to go back inside, closer to his Wi-Fi. But yeah, we're having a little bit of technical issues, but we'll get him back in a minute. Let's see. Can we hear you yet, Jason? No, we can't hear him. He'll jump back in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, for anybody that hasn't heard the user defender, so I'm guessing, Sarah, that you haven't listened to the show yet.
No, and I'll be honest. Like I'm probably the worst user experience designer person in the world, because it's like I work all day and I have people that I talk to about that, but at night, like I'm done. I'm in my cafe, I'm doing other things, I completely shut off. So I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't read a lot of books unless it has to do with something I specifically am working on. Then I'll reach out to those kinds of things, or I'll go to conferences. But for the most part, I really don't listen to a lot of podcasts or read a lot of blogs or anything about what I do on a daily basis, which I guess is weird.
I don't think that's weird. I think that's probably more than normal than weird, honestly. I think a lot of us struggle with trying to have a balance of, I'm going to do this during the day for work, and then at night I need to decompress, or I need to literally live my life. and
Yeah.
be with my family, be with my loved ones. I think what you just said is more the norm. I think a lot of times we feel like a pressure to do things like that, like to make sure that we're, I see so many people that are doing this, that, and the other thing online. And
Yeah.
I see so many of my peers working through lunch and sending emails at 12:30. And it's like, to me, that's just not cool. Don't send me an email at 12:30. Don't send me an invite to a meeting for noon. Leave my lunch hour alone. That's my time. And
Yeah.
it's especially where we're at now in the world. We need to be respectful of each other's time
Yeah.
and realize that we all have a certain amount of ability to focus on our day-to-day work and balance our lives and family with everything that's going on, and be able to just have some kind of sense of normalcy. But I think a lot of times we just kind of pick up our respected uh, focus of career through, I don't want to say osmosis, but in a flavor osmosis, I guess, because we have our team, we have people that we talk to through the day. We're looking up things as far as like, oh, let me look at this pattern and see how
Yeah.
this how somebody else did this. Let me look at this code. Oh, great, I could take this and I could use the CSS grid this way. So it's not like you're not doing that during the day. You're doing that as you're working.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. And I think also I'm in a different place in my career, right? I've been doing this for a really long time. And it's not that I don't need to read these things. It's not that, but I don't feel that pressure that I felt when I was in my 20s and 30s to, because yes, people, I'm in my 40s now. So I don't feel that pressure to, you know everything and that, during the early 2000s, that kind of like, I don't know what they called it, hustle porn, where everybody was like, yeah, I'm working all the time. I barely sleep, and all this stuff. And like, no, dude, I'm not down for that. I work, I do my thing, and then I do my other stuff because I have a life. So yeah, I saw he popped in and then he popped back out.
Yeah, he's also said, he just texted me that his computer is wigging out. I know that he had an issue with his computer because I know Jason was under contract with a company currently the last few months, and then they also had to do layoffs because
Oh
of
God.
COVID, which is a real big issue with a lot of people. So he had to give up his big MacBook Pro, and he's on his MacBook Air. So that's a struggle too. I mean, what do we do with a lot of these situations? Like, there's a lot of companies laying off a lot of people, and we might feel really secure in our jobs, but sometimes it's you don't know. Uh, what do you think, Sarah? What can people do to be better prepared? Is it like, should we start like getting all our resumes ready just in case, like a oh fuck moment?
I think that's a natural reaction, but I think that we're like we were discussing before we started taping. Like, I was talking about my insomnia and my anxiety, and now I have this thing where I lock the door at the cafe at night because I take the night shift, right? And I get in my truck and I get halfway home and I'm like, did I lock the door? I don't know if I locked the door. And then at home, did I turn the faucet off? I don't know if I turned the faucet off. I've never had this before in my life, and I know that it's just this kind of anxiety, this internal anxiety that's playing out in these weird obsessive compulsive ways. But I think that we need to really take care of ourselves right now. Um, there's probably very little you can do to prepare yourself for losing a job beyond having a resume ready, um, maybe preemptively reaching out to some different people and just seeing where they are in their life and their career, and making sure that you're not just reaching out when you need something. um, it can be hard. Like, I know often I have tons of people that I consider friends who, like, 6 months goes by and I don't talk to them, and something really great happens in their life, I talk to them, or something really terrible happens and I talk to them. But the day to day, I think about them and I don't really connect. Maybe try to do a better job of keeping those connections going. Because really, I think a lot of us, just need to, like, take a moment. And worrying about losing your job and what's going to happen is just extra stress on top of stress. So I'm probably not the greatest answer, but I think it's really important to to like not overdo this kind of doomsday planning. If you lose your job, unfortunately, you're going to have plenty of time to put together your resume and your portfolio, and you'll also need to take time to grieve and go through that process. You know, I've lost jobs before, and it's like a death. It's awful. But yeah, I'm rambling. Sorry. Just thinking about all the bullshit going on in the world. It's making me sad.
No, you're not rambling. No, it's an honest conversation. I mean, I think that's great advice, because I know a lot of people in my group that I talk with that are panicking, and they're getting their stuff ready just in case. So, you know, they have, I have three buddies that they have large families, and they're like, you know, if this goes down, what the shit? And they work at startups, and like, I thank God I don't I would never work at a startup again personally, but
hey, I love startups. Don't mess with my startups.
I love startups too. Don't get me wrong, but it's not my cup of tea.
Well, and I'm in a different place, right, in my life, where I don't know that I would be doing startups if my kids were younger, and I wasn't doing startups when my kids were younger, right? That's something that as I've gotten older and I have, I can take more risk than I do that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but.
No, you didn't interrupt me. That's a fair statement. I think I might feel differently if I didn't have a 5-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, my kid's 18. Like, tough luck, dude. Like, go get an extra shift at Walmart. So.
Exactly. You know, the Army's taking people.
Exactly. Yep.
You could use a haircut, and it's free there.
Yeah, and my youngest is 14, so he legally can work in Florida. So we're good to go.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah, I worked at Publix when I was 14. So.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked early too, but I didn't realize that in Massachusetts when I was growing up, you had to be 15 and a half. Why 15 and a half? I don't know. But you couldn't get a job till that age. And so when I heard 14, I was like, wow, that seems young.
I think it's a little too young, to be honest. I don't think anybody should be working at 14. I don't think when you're mature enough to, you probably it just kind of sounds wrong. It's like the laws in Florida, you know, what they say is like the sunshine tax. The careers aren't as lucrative. There's a lot of things that you end up paying for, like child labor, apparently at 14.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know that I would trust Max to do anything at this age.
Yeah. At 14, I was working at Publix, bagging and also being a cashier. So I was in charge of money too. So.
Oh my God. No. My youngest son is one of those, like, I can't give him more than 3 steps because he just gets lost. He's like, what did you say? I can't remember. But, poor kid. I'll call him out in front of everybody. But
I think, I'm sorry, go ahead. No, you please.
Nope.
I'm not sure if we're getting Jason back, so we might talk about, let's see.
Tell him not to worry about it. I hate to stress him out. I mean, it'd be so hard to jump back in. We'll just schedule him another time.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll just call this one. And if you're watching live, thanks so much. But we'll probably end up pulling this and redo this for another time.
Yeah. And I'll actually watch some of his podcasts before then. I'll do some research like you do.
Hey, there you go. If you can, there's no pressure. I think there's a lot of value in just having people not know about him as well. You know, like having you have no clue, jump in and then see all this and then have an authentic reaction and questions that somebody else in the audience might not know about him and come in. Because, you know, there's a lot of people that are new to the industry every single day. I remember I heard Chris Corey talking about how he would go on podcasts and everybody would ask him the same thing, like, you know, where'd you get your start? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And he got tired of talking about it, which I get, but, you know, still I stick to this, is that there's new people every day to this industry, and there's always second career devs. It's not just, you know, young people starting out. There's people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s jumping into this.
Yeah. Speaking of, I'm super excited. So I just hired my first visual designer for my team at Honeycomb. And she's going to start on the 22nd. And she's been in the industry for a little while, but I also have a UX designer starting who is a career switcher. And she's actually based here in Florida. So I'm super excited to bring her in and kind of, see her experience this industry and this, grow in this field. So I'm like, so I'm on PTO next week. So I have a whole week to like just chill out,
Nice.
build a cat house. That's what I'm going to do. And then go back to work and have a team. I left as one and now I'm a team. Awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we're just going to kill it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna kill it, and we'll chalk this up to technical difficulties, and we'll try this one again. So let me just say for the audience out there, because we did have some questions. Todd Libby was asking some things about intermission music, the daunting task of putting on a show together. Oh, you do a terrific job. Thanks, Todd. He had a lot more questions here for Jason, but yeah, sorry, Todd. Well, thanks for watching, though. Appreciate it. We'll have Jason on the show again. Yeah, exactly. So thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
And